Okay, on the top of page 429, they have a couple other ways of determining where an angle is. So we've already learned an angle in standard position starts at the positive x-axis. It's either positive and goes counterclockwise or negative and goes clockwise. Here are some other examples of writing angles. So this one is using a compass, north, east, south, west. And if you have a heading of west, 30 degrees south, that means you're going to start on west and head 30 degrees in the south direction. That angle in standard position would be 210 degrees. So the blue is an angle in standard position. The green is representing west 30 degrees south. If you had west 40 degrees north, you would start on west and you would head 40 degrees towards the north. That would be your angle. This angle in standard position would have been 140 degrees. Another thing that is sometimes used for measuring angles is something called bearings. Bearings always start at north. And they always travel in a clockwise direction. So if I was going to do a bearing for this angle, standard angle of 210 degrees, you would start here and say head at a bearing of, what would this be? 180 plus 60 more, 240 degrees. And this one, if you wanted to do a bearing, 270 plus 40, that would be a bearing of 310 degrees. So depending on the situation of the problem and what they're looking at, they might use a different form of measurement for angles. These are three common ones. We've learned about angles in standard position, and for high school mathematics, that's the one that you use the most. Anytime you go into navigation, well, in navigation, you're going to either have these ones where it's like west 30 degrees south, or you might have a bearing which starts right from north and goes around in a clockwise direction. So in our example here, a forest ranger sees smoke rising from a point that lies in a direction east 40 degrees north. So we can draw, okay. She estimates the distance from the station, so if the ranger station is right there, then east 40 degrees north, we would go east and then 40 degrees towards the north. Let's pull out and see if I've got some smoke here. Yes, there we go. There we go. Perfect. Maybe a little bit of flame. There we go. Nice. Very good. So there we go. We got a forest fire burning and estimates that that fire is 30 kilometers away in that direction. Firefighters have to travel east and then north to get to the fire. So there must be roads that go this way and then this way in order to get to that fire. To the nearest kilometer, how far should the firefighters travel in each direction? So what happens is we make a triangle. That triangle, if we draw it, has a 90 degree here. If we draw it again off to the side, what do we know on this triangle? We know that that's 90 degrees. We know that this angle is 40 degrees, and we know that this length is 30 degrees. That is what was given to us in the question. What else could you find? Well, we want to find this and this. How much do they have to travel to the east, and how much do they need to travel north? It's a right-angled triangle. So we can use our triangle math, trigonometry from grade 10, right? Which one do you want to figure out first, x or y? X. Okay, so let's find x. Would you use sine, cos, or tan? You would use cos. And you would use cos because you know the angle of 40 degrees. You want to find x, which is the adjacent side, and you know the hypotenuse, which is 30. To get x by itself, you would multiply both sides by 30. Take out your calculator, and 30 cos of 40 degrees. Whoa, get out of this screen. 30 cos of 40 degrees is equal to 22.9, and we're supposed to go to the nearest kilometer, so 23. Because I approximated it. You can write equal signs, it's not going to matter. Just out of habit when I approximate a number. Now, we found x already. Now we can find y. Sine, cos, or tan for finding y? Sine, because it's the opposite side. We know the angle, 40 degrees. Y is the opposite side, and we know the hypotenuse. Multiply both sides by 30. Take out our calculator. 30 sine of 40 degrees. 19.2, so to the nearest kilometer. Y is approximately 19 kilometers. So that one was straightforward with using SOHCAHTOA and the trigonometry that you've learned in grade 10. So a little bit of review. So try a couple more questions in review, 7 and 11.